Alrighty guys, welcome back to the WGL APAC Season 1 broadcast. We're obviously getting towards the pointy end of things for today, down to our fourth match. And it is going to be a hot one, isn't it, Alex?
It is going to be a very hot one. Of course, we have got the DarkWolves from Korea taking on the Chinese powerhouse EL Gaming. EL yet to lose a single match, Jordan.
And, as well, yet to even look like they're going to lose a match. Like, they haven't even been in a position where they've really been challenged at all. Like, I think they dropped maybe 3 rounds last week.
Yeah, it was a rare sight to see them drop around at all, I think. And coming in towards this one against the top of the table team, the DarkWolves, who ended last week second, I believe. This is going to be really tough for DW to try and take it out.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be tough. And well, obviously EL, one of the strongest teams in the competition at the moment. This is their lineup, and they've had some changes since last season, but obviously just still sitting up there at the top of the ladder.
And I think those changes have made them even stronger, if I can say, Jordan. And, going up against the DarkWolves, like, we've seen such a mixed bag of results from Korea's teams this season. And, like, I think EL Gaming, their play style, being so aggressive, seems to deal with everyone so well. Particularly seems to work against those, like, super defensive Korean playstyles where, it takes them like a minute, 2 minutes just to set up in their defense. By that time, EL Gaming's rolling through their ranks.
Yeah, I mean, EL, their trademark aggression, of course, is what we continue to speak about, and it's really been crucial in their success so far. They seem like the kind of team that is prepared to take those very early fights, get in the face of their opponents, and really catch their opponents off guard. And I think, going up here against DarkWolves, that's going to be a really, really strong part of their playstyle, and it's going to look really dangerous now for DarkWolves, I think, because they're going to take a little bit longer to set up. And, well, we've seen it work out so many times for EL Gaming in the past that I'm not really crossing my fingers here for DarkWolves.
No, I don't think so. So it's going to be tricky for DarkWolves to try and get the win here. But look, I mean, they've proven that they're a very solid team of tankers, right? Yeah. They know tanks. They know how to play it extremely well, and potentially, they may have even counter-stratted some of EL Gaming. So they might have come up with strategies directly to counter EL Gaming's aggressive pushes that we see them do every week, every game.
Yeah, well, the DarkWolves, of course, we know who they are. They're sitting up towards the top end of the ladder, sitting in 5th at the moment, but, well, there's potential for them to pick up a win here and maybe move themselves up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
It is going to have to be a pretty crazy match from them if they do want to try and take it to EL, though. Yeah,
I think they've got the potential to take it to EL and the potential to win this one, but you're right. It's going to have to be a cracker of a match from there. They're all going to have to be on their game today, and all just going to have to be ready to go right from the get-go. And I think, in terms of players to look at from the DarkWolves, Bat Kong, we'll keep an eye on him. He's one of my favourite players over on their lineup. Very, very solid tanker in general, I think. And I think we saw him last week in some of the matches do really well as well. So have to keep an eye on him. Yeah, well, DarkWolves certainly, at the moment at least, exceeding the expectations put upon them. We didn't necessarily think that they were going to be one of those top teams in the league, but at the moment, on paper, they are doing one of the best out of some of the teams here, because they are obviously sitting quite high up the ladder. And after the first week, I think they were sitting in 2nd position. Obviously have dropped down a little bit due to some of the results from yesterday's games and that sort of thing. But they're still sitting up there towards the top end of things. So hopefully, at least for them, they're going to be able to continue that run. Even if they do drop to EL here, they should be feeling pretty safe in the middle of the pack. I think so. So, we'll have to wait and see, of course, depending on what maps we see them play as well, that really could shuffle things around a little bit. If we see something kind of more defensive to start off with, something like a Himmelsdorf, then I feel as though that might be a good, map to set the scene for the DarkWolves, to give them a bit of an opportunity to take things a little bit slower, take things more at their pace. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to say, when you speak about maps like that, it is hard to find a map where you think, okay, well, DarkWolves actually might have a bit of an advantage here over the guys on EL Gaming, because the EL Gaming are just so strong on pretty much every map. But let's go ahead and take a look and see which map we are going to be seeing first up here, because looks like we've got our team lineups first. Okay.
And Prokhorovka. Okay, that's interesting. EL Gaming haven't played that one yet, or at least they didn't play it in the first week. DarkWolves played it once. They have a 50% win rate. They won their defense, but not their attack. So,
okay, well, I'm liking EL Gaming's lineup here, apart from the Lorraine. But I mean, the IS4 is interesting. Interesting to see EL Gaming actually going with those ones. And on the other side, of course, DarkWolves going with something a little bit more standard. Lots of mediums. They've also got the STB1 in the mix as well.
Yeah, Fox TS probably going to be taking that Lorraine away for EL Gaming. He seems to be like their artillery player. But yeah, again, I agree with you. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the Lorraine, but having said that, it's EL Gaming, so
it is EL Gaming.
Can we really question it? Probably not. If they're the best team in the league,
no,
they can probably do what they want.
Yeah, look, I think if we are going to be seeing a Lorraine played really, really well, it will be here by EL Gaming. You know, like that's where we're going to be seeing it. So my call for the Lorraine this time is that it's going to be a very aggressive Lorraine. It's going to be placed quite far up the map, and it's going to be used in conjunction with a push. So, you know, maybe to hit some of those tanks around the back lines.
Yeah. So, are you thinking EL probably going to be starting off here on the attacking side?
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the attacking side. So let's wait and see. But here we go. Prokhorov crew, of course, the map with the 2 flags, one on either side of the rail line. Already some shots coming out, Jordan.
Yeah, certainly sounds that way.
And I think right there, looks like we might just be having a quick reset while we get everything in order. But the guys are obviously pretty keen to get off, getting those shots across early. But they're going to have to wait a little bit. We make sure everything is hunky-dory in there. I think one of the teams might have picked the wrong tank, so just getting that one reset nice and quick for everyone.
Well, that's not fair, is it?
No, it's not fair. I mean, if they picked a mouse, I think they should have, you know,
just rolled with it.
Should have just rolled with it. That would have been fun.
Not a mouse. Prokhorovka. That would literally be the worst map for a mouse.
Am I not incorrect in thinking that the mouse in the WGL APAC Gold Series Season 1 of 2016 and 2017 has a 100% win rate? I think it does.
It does.
So therefore,
that's a rubbish statistic.
It's one of the best tanks in the entire league.
I'm not going to buy this, Alex.
Well,
no, that's rubbish.
I don't know. My fantasy team, if I could pick a fantasy team of tanks and put it that way, the mouse is going to be up there. It's going to be scoring all the points. And the Oho.
Sure.
Don't forget the Oho.
Well, yeah. Wow. What a crazy stat. That's not on my spreadsheet.
Jordan doesn't like it when stats aren't on his spreadsheet. Yeah, that's how you can tell. It's not a good stat.
Well, you are right, though. It does have a 100% win rate. I think that's more testament to the fact that the teams that are generally favoured are picking the mouse as opposed to the mouse being an impactful part of the composition.
Probably fairly true. I mean, I think you can give someone with a 40% win rate the mouse, and they'll won't go up from a 40% win rate.
That 100% win rate. That's
exactly. So, but mind you, we've seen some zero damages, even some zero damages on wins before as well. So, not the best. But there you go. So I think going back into the map. Hopefully we've got everything sorted, and the guys are getting some more shots across early on once more.
Yeah, it seems DarkWolves this time are going to be defending, and EL on the attack. So you were right about that, potentially that EL was going to be on the attack here. Seems like DarkWolves actually the ones with the Lorraine. So right. That actually makes more sense, because I was, to be perfectly honest, a little bit surprised that EL Gaming picked the Lorraine, because I feel as though it's a little bit terrible. And yeah, so just throwing it out there. But EL Gaming going to be moving up early on, and again doing their trademark aggression. Gomley and Caviar with the IS4s. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll just waltz towards the centre of the map. That's going to be fine. Oh wait a minute, there's an EL Gaming team that are just waiting for us to shoot us. Yeah, well, we'll see. EL Gaming actually just having stalled for the moment on the top of that hill, but it seems like Black going to be making his way down the side. He's actually in a scout tank, interestingly enough. Not a type of tank that we tend to see Black driving. He's usually the guy sitting in those heavy tanks. But once again, that's EL Gaming.
EL Gaming, look, I mean, they're going all the way on towards Caviar, and you can just see all the lasers just focusing down on him. And there's no way that the DarkWolves would have been expecting to see this, with Black getting dropped down a little bit now as well. He's actually in quite a bit of danger, but getting some shots on still, so staying calm under pressure right here, Jordan.
Yeah, look, Yeah. EL Gaming at the moment are actually taking a fair bit of damage, but the great thing is that they've managed to trade out 1 for 1. And they've lost their tier 8, but DarkWolves have lost Caviar.
Yep.
Oh, they've actually traded out 2 for 1, so it's even better for EL.
Yeah,
exactly.
my
words.
EL are in the driver's seat right now, so I think that as long as they maintain it, and knowing that the fact that they're EL Gaming, they probably will. I feel as though we might even be coming across with just a little bit of bias towards EL Gaming, but just looking at their stats, there's no way that you can kind of just dispute those.
Yeah, it's not really biased in the sense that EL Gaming is the best team in the league, and they are expected to be the best team in the league. So the stats don't lie. I mean, they have...
But actually, hold that thought. Hold that thought, because we've just seen another member of EL Gaming go down. It's going to be Sunmi in the Object 140. So it's kind of even things up a little bit on both sides. It's a 5v5 at the moment.
Yep.
And EL Gaming, they're not actually looking too good overall, and I think maybe even Batcog might have been getting some good shots there. Now Young's going to be taking some shots from the EL Gaming crew, who are rotating. We've got Guanren rotating all the way over here. He's got to be very, very careful that he doesn't run into these two FE215Bs.
I'm sure he's going to proxy spot these guys before he pops himself over the tracks there, and it'll be relatively safe. Might have... I don't think he popped himself up enough to be able to spot out the Lorraine there, so at least for the moment the Lorraine remains unspotted. I think the danger here, though, for DarkWolves is Revolution is all the way down there towards the south of the map on his own flag, and Revolution actually going for a bit of a duel. It's going to be Revolution to win it.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it is a 1-for-1 trade in that short passage of play. Guanren, in the meanwhile, did manage to pick up a kill. Guanren probably going to be having a field day sitting up in that position there now on the reload, but would have done a huge amount of damage to the backside of both of those FV215Bs. And, well... It looked for a moment like the DarkWolves might be able to pull something out of the hat here on our first round here on Prokhorovka, but EL Gaming, I mean, they've got a... Well, they had a 90.9% win rate in terms of rounds after week 1, so they dropped, I think, one single round. Yeah, they had a 10-1 for and against, so that goes to show just how strong EL Gaming is, and they're going to be starting off well here up against the DarkWolves.
There we go. So DarkWolves are going to be having a Revolution with the only tank left on their lineup, 661 HP. But EL Gaming should be able to soon finish him off, and actually taking one more shot than actually needed. So a little bit unfortunate there for EL Gaming, but they take it in the end with only 4 tanks left. Jordan, that was honestly, it's hilarious how, you know, like how much they just played into, or how every aggressive strategy that EL Gaming use, it always works. You can guarantee that EL Gaming are going to be aggressive. There's nothing new there. Yep. Of course they're going to push up early and try and attack you. But so why does it still work against the two IS-4s and DarkWolves that just got caught out early? You know that they're going to be doing that. So why risk it? But there you go.
I can't tell you.
That's EL Gaming for you.
I feel like there should be a team, maybe not in the first few weeks here, but eventually down the track, someone's going to cotton on and figure something out that they can use against EL Gaming. I mean,
you know what I reckon they can use?
What?
I reckon they can use... No, not a mouse. Not a mouse. Good. I reckon against EL Gaming on Prokhorovka, 6 FV215B 183s.
6?
Yeah,
okay.
6 183s. You sit them at the back, aim at the middle of the map, wait for them to come over the hill, bam. There's half the team gone.
Well, I'd be surprised to see that coming out, to be honest. But
I'm probably getting roasted in the chat.
Well, you deserve it. You deserve it. Roast him.
Don't roast me. No, it's right. You can. That was probably a terrible idea. Probably wouldn't work.
Roast me.
There you go.
Yeah.
But look, DarkWolves, they're going to be trying not to get roasted.
No.
And trying to pull back in this one after a 1-0 start off there to EL Gaming, I think. And you know, we saw like the artillery piece. I don't know if that worked too well.
No, well, we'll have to wait and see what the stats look like. But here's the replay, and this is really just the start of everything here. EL Gaming just getting off to a great lead.
And just the perfect shot target calling right there by EL Gaming. They did not land a single shot onto Caviar. They were just all focused first on onto Gomley, then Caviar, and just so disciplined. And I mean, like, it is literally perfect tanking. If you guys don't have a notepad out watching our stream at home, make sure you get one out, because you can jot down some notes on how EL Gaming play, and it is going to help your win rate, I think. So right now, Guan Ren as well, we can just see this was where he was just looking to poke over the hill, over the little rail yard there, and I think he did end up getting some shots on towards Yui.
Yeah, he did actually take out one of those FV215Bs, and there you go, it's Yui that does go down, and he also did a heap of damage across to the other one. So Guan Ren, I wouldn't be surprised to be seeing doing, you know, around 2k damage maybe. He probably would have gotten all 5 of those shots from that particular clip in the bat chat there, and maybe even a few more earlier on in the piece in the initial fight that went on in towards the middle of the map. So he did a pretty good job, I think, in terms of the damage, but really remains to be seen who's up the top.
There we go. Well, Fox TS is going to be the one up the top there for EL Gaming in that TVP, and you know, EL, they're the team that can really make that TVP work, and we can see again down the bottom there that Gomley, even in the IS4, he's the one that got caught out first. He got primaried by EL Gaming and ended up getting 0 damage dealt. So that is never something that you want to see, particularly on your tier 10 tank.
Yeah. Well, not really much more to say about that. Like,
no, like it was just so hard to even watch that initial push over the hill that that EL Gaming made, and DarkWolves, they're obviously not ready for it, and they didn't seem to react like, sorry, they did react like okay, fairly fast, right? But you know, by that time they'd already lost one of their IS4s. They'd already, or 2 of their IS4s even. They hadn't really got too many kills in reply to those first 2.
Yeah, well, enough about that first round. Looks like we are going to be getting ready to head into our second one here. We do have the tank lineups, and a lot of bad chats coming out from the DarkWolves.
A lot of bad chats. Going to be going with 4 of those ones right there, and EL Gaming going to be going with only 2, and instead some Object 140s, a TVP, and an STB1. So overall pretty kind of standard, I think it's safe to say, a lineup from both of these teams right here. Have to keep an eye on that TVP, obviously doing so well in the last round for EL Gaming.
Yeah, well, just having a look at that lineup, you'd expect that the DarkWolves are going to be wanting to utilize their mobility a little bit more so than anything else here. So, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see whether they go towards the 1 or the 2 cap. I'd say maybe towards the eastern side more so than the western side. Not really a great idea to be taking some really open duels, I guess, with EL Gaming, which is what you'd probably see on the western side of the map. But really, I don't know if they're necessarily going to have much of a choice being up against EL Gaming. They're probably going to have the fight brought to them regardless.
I guess so. So, right now, you can actually take a look around and see Batkong moving out in that RU251 for the DarkWolves, and I'm liking this, getting some early, or at least trying to get some early spots out. I'm not too sure whether he did end up spotting Flag out there on the rails, but instead just going to be heading right back down. He did actually get a nice reactionary shot on towards Black, and Black there getting absolutely demolished.
Yeah, well, that's Black for you. I mean, he got very aggressive in the first round as well. He was the first one charging over the hill there for EL Gaming. I don't think they're going to be too bothered by losing that tank there. Look how much damage they've been able to do over to Caviar in response. I mean, they've lost their RU251, but it is their tier 8 tank, and it's EL Gaming. They're just going to be feeling pretty confident about that. He got lots of spots. They know exactly where the guys on DarkWolves are going, which is up the hill, and EL Gaming are able to rotate accordingly.
There you go. So I think right now, just taking a look at the DarkWolves, going to be going up the hill, and I really like the fact that they've kind of pushed up here and they're trying to focus down on towards Guan Ren, with Batkong pushing in as well, because not only is this a good position for them just to start off with after getting that RU251, that first kill, but it's a very safe position to start off with as well, because EL Gaming, you know, they can't really push onto any location where they can fire upon that backside of the hill easily at all. So it's a nice little start for the DarkWolves.
Yeah, not a bad start. Yeah, it's definitely not bad. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not they can convert this, because what EL Gaming have been so good at doing is, even if they don't get off to the greatest of starts in a particular round, they've always been seeming to be able to bring things back. So the job is not done yet for DarkWolves.
No, far from it. And I think Batkong there in that RU251, just going to be trying to get some more shots on towards Guan Ren. But I can see EL Gaming there kind of getting a little bit agitated, and I think the issue for DarkWolves here might actually be that they've got Gomley and Young in both of those 113s around the town, and there is a wolf pack of EL Gaming members right around them. So that could be a little bit of a problem in the future.
Yeah, it potentially could be. Guanren takes another shot there from the hill. Needs to be careful with himself, but Young is able to... Oh, not Young, rather. Flag is able to return one back. The favour back onto the DarkWolves as he puts a shot into Young. Gomli taking one as well, and now Backong taking a little bit of damage. So across the board, the DarkWolves starting to bleed some HP, and the gap is closing.
Yeah, it is. So DarkWolves right now is going to be still playing things nice and slow, not rushing in anywhere. As we see EL Gaming, actually, it looks like they will be going over the train tracks right here. Fox DS taking down Young, and Gomli's in a lot of trouble as well. In that 113, he's one shot from death, but somehow he's still staying alive. Finally, EL Gaming managed to finish him off.
Yeah, here's the little bit of an explosion coming out from EL Gaming. Sunmi was able to pick up one, and Flag is trying to take control of that hill at the moment. Yui definitely the target in his sights. I think Flag should be able to close him out here with these 3 shots. If he manages to land them all, might not quite have enough damage. Let's have a look and see whether or not he's going to do it. Actually deciding, probably wisely, to fall back here. He spotted out Caviar. I think he says, oh, he's seen those remaining bat chats there as well. Doesn't want to stick around here too much longer. He has to wait for the backup from the remainders of EL Gaming. He would have liked to have taken down Batkong in the RU-251, but unfortunately for him, missing that shot.
Oh, and there we go instead. It is going to be Sunmi who takes out Batkong. At DarkWolves at the moment, they've still got 4 tier 10s up, all of them bat chats, so by no means kind of at a massive disadvantage in this game, even though 2 of them are looking a little bit worse for wear, Caviar and Yui. But all of them have those full clips in the auto-loaders, so a lot of damage is still on the board for the DarkWolves. And EL Gaming on the defense, they do seem to still be controlling the passage of play a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the map control available here for EL Gaming. They've got more than 3/4 of the map is in their favour. So they have a lot more room to maneuver, and DarkWolves at the moment are really just stuck. They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's looking very, very tricky for DarkWolves because, you know, they need to push in, and they are actually going to be trying to do that. Overwatch, he did get one, but paid for it with about 1,000 HP. That's still kind of almost worth, but it is not going to be worth it if he actually gets down right here. He's ducking, dodging, and weaving. Caviar, in the meantime, up on the top. Flag.
Flag's managed to bounce a shell off Caviar there, and that might be a death sentence here for Flag. He's on the reload now. Caviar's got 2 easy shells to come in, and it seems like Yui coming out the back as well. Flag actually opting to run down the hill here, but he's going to be met by Revolution on the other side. And Sunmi manages to get a shot there onto Caviar. A good shot.
Yeah.
But I think Flag's days are numbered.
I think so as well. So that was almost.
Probably have to hit that one.
Oh no, look at that. He's on 12 HP there. Finally goes down, but with only 1 tank left on the DarkWolves side, Revolution, look, the issue is in these bat chats, of course, he's only got 2 shots left, so all that has to happen is EL Gaming has to push into him with that STB, and yeah, he can get 2 shots off, but there we go. Even the Ram comes in to help finish him off. There you go. That's curtains.
Yep. Good stuff coming out once again from EL Gaming. So a 2-0, clean 2-0 coming out on Prokhorovka. Probably expected as much.
Probably.
So, I mean, it's the first time we've seen them play Prokhorovka, and they seemed reasonably comfortable on it. I don't think it's necessarily their best map. They played a little bit uncharacteristically defensive.
Yeah, particularly on that side as well. They definitely waited for the DarkWolves to kind of come to them a little bit. They were trying to play aggressively early on with that RU-251 that they pushed out and up on the rail tracks. I think there was a few really nice shots from the DarkWolves that kind of punished that aggressive play of the RU-251 that EL Gaming weren't really able to respond to earlier on. But overall, still... You know, it's still the EL Gaming that's just cool, calm, collected, just waited until DarkWolves kind of showed themselves right after that and dealt with them accordingly.
Yeah, so not sure exactly what our next map is going to be coming out here, but obviously EL Gaming, I suspect, going to be favoured on it. I think that's pretty safe statement.
Yeah, probably a fairly safe statement if we're going by your stats, of course. EL Gaming with a 100% win rate. So
no, 90.1. They dropped a round on Ghost Town Attack last week.
90.1. Yeah. Terrible. But here we go. Taking a look back at, I think this was where Flag got some nice shots on towards Yui as well in that Bat Chat 25T. That was Yui just getting a little bit low. And I think, It was a nice little... There was lots of good sniping coming in this one as well, I think, Jordan. With, this was Caviar getting shot down as well by Sunmi in an Object 140, which isn't the sort of tank, when you think about kind of sniping, it's not the first tank that comes to mind, but there you go.
Yeah, not a bad shot. Not often easy to hit guys up on that hill when you're down towards the train tracks there, so definitely respect for a good shot coming out there from that guy.
Yeah, definitely Sunmi making the plays, if you will. So I think moving on to our next map as well, but I mean, I just want to have another think about what really went right for EL Gaming in that one. Even though they got off to a start which looked like it was favouring DarkWolves, DarkWolves really took it to them, really played sort of extremely well early on by getting into that nice hill position, by getting that nice early pick on the RU-251 and kind of denying EL Gaming the opportunity to kind of push into them early on. But then it just all sort of came undone.
Well, I mean, you talk about what went right there for EL Gaming. I think there was something that went wrong for DarkWolves. Is there was a lot of missed shots, and unfortunately, if you're not hitting the shots, you're not doing the damage. So, well, not going to be lending themselves to as a great result if that's the case.
Very true, and we can just see how good Fox TS here is at that TVPT 5051. 3.3 thousand damage dealt, 20 shots. He is a master of that tank. We saw it, earlier on in that first half. We're seeing it again, so it's a repeated performance by Fox TS.
Certainly a strong player there for the guys on EL Gaming, but. Yeah, they'll be setting their minds on the next map. Obviously, they've decided, well, not necessarily decided, but they've managed to pick up that 2-0 on Prokhorovka, so they started off well. And I think every match today, apart from the apart from the Meltdown and B Gaming, we've seen a 2-0 to begin with. But some of them have gone pretty close, so can't necessarily take too much from that.
No, exactly. I feel as though after seeing DarkWolves play there on Prokhorovka and really make it nice and close, I reckon I might adjust my prediction for this one, Jordan.
Right.
I'm thinking it's going to be not a 5-0.
Okay.
I reckon we're going to be seeing a 5-2. 5-2.
Okay.
To EL Gaming. So I reckon DarkWolves are going to get 2.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm still on the EL Gaming hype train. Looks like we are going to be heading on to Steps as our next map.
Okie dokie, Steps. Good to see this one. But we've got the Gorilla 15 coming out for EL Gaming, which is good to see, of course. A Tier 10 German tank destroyer on the DarkWolves side. Instead, we've got 3 Object 140s and 2 113s. So overall, a pretty fast lineup on both sides. But I'll be very interested to see where EL Gaming put that Gorilla in the mix and where they decide to kind of station it up, if you will.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's you could say it's an interesting lineup from EL Gaming. It makes sense, right? But it's not a relatively standard lineup coming out from EL Gaming. It's certainly a lineup where they're going to be looking to get in there quickly, use that mobility, and really outmaneuver their opponent, which certainly, I guess, lends credence to the sort of the storyline that we've been trying to sell about EL Gaming, which is that they're so aggressive and that they're such a strong lineup in terms of their early game play, where they're able to usually get the advantages and really roll or snowball from there.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think, and it will be like, apart from the Gorilla 15, we could have seen 5 bat chats on the attack in Steps before. Obviously, Steps, when you're attacking, it offers so much space to move around in. That's why these teams pick these sort of really fast, lighter or medium tanks to go with, that can move around the map fast, that can flank around both sides of the flag, that can react whenever an enemy is spotted. But the grill is something that we don't always see. And it's interesting to see EL Gaming pick it up.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick on Steps at all. I mean, Steps is a very big, wide open map, and obviously the grill really is kind of like, that's kind of its playground, right? It's a bit of a more of a snipey kind of tank. It's one of the most accurate in the game, if not the most accurate in the game. So, of course he can sit way back on Steps and try and snipe down some enemy tanks, and maybe that could be the difference here. Maybe they don't necessarily want to just have everyone in there in the fight. They want to have that Grill 15 at the back, just dealing that consistent damage, not really under a lot of pressure at all. And you know what? I'm sure it's going to work out for EL Gaming.
I think we've got an EL Gaming fanboy over here, guys.
What can I say?
So maybe
What can I say?
if you want to prove Mr. Jordan Elfish Guy Mays wrong, then I think you can. You can just head on over to our Fantasy WOT page. For the Wargaming.net League over on fantasy.eslgaming.com/WOT and create your own team. So if you're not a big fan of all of the EL Gaming guys, you can throw in a couple of DarkWolves in there just to spite him. And
hey, I like the DarkWolves. I got nothing against them. I just think EL Gaming
really
too strong.
I don't know about that, but here we go. Moving on towards Steps right now, and of course Steps the map with the railway up the top, the dry riverbed in the centre, and the valley down on the eastern side of the map. So I think DarkWolves here are going to be, we're rolling out with EL Gaming, and they are going to be heading out nice and early towards the one flag here, and potentially looking to make some picks on towards DarkWolves. And this is actually a little bit dangerous for DarkWolves. They're sending Batkong out the wrong side of the rail tracks.
Yes, that is well, if he gets set up in this bush here, he's got a camo net. He's got
I think
binocs.
it is just going to tick over. So
yeah, it definitely would have ticked over by now.
Yeah.
He's going to be okay. As long as EL Gaming just don't charge straight in towards that 2 cap. But really, he's kind of in an almost irrelevant position in that 1390, because look at how many people on the DarkWolves are flying around here. Revolution is going to be caught off guard. This is typical of EL Gaming. They're going to just charge in there and pick off one tank early on in the piece. Nice on the AMX 1390. Might be the one to get it. No, it's going to be Guanwen in the bat chat. And really, I mean, EL Gaming, they're quite content to take the damage here as long as they can get that tank advantage, and it certainly seems to be heading that way at the moment. Guanren down very low, but he's quite safe behind that house at the moment. Nice in the AMX 1390 as well, using that house as cover. And really, the house is sort of the most important piece of the map right now, because you can see 4 tanks hiding behind it.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a bomber or something, or an artillery piece just to shell that house and knock it down for both the guys on DarkWolves and the EL Gaming. And we can see Nice, they're trying to defend out Guanren, but Young poking around the side does manage to take him out. And unfortunately, that AMX 1390 just not big and bulky enough. He needed something like an Oho there, I think. But overall...
Maybe a mouse.
Maybe a mouse, exactly.
Yeah, well, certainly not the kind of tanks that EL Gaming really are particularly interested in picking. I think they like to go for those fast, quick tanks, and
look at this positioning from EL Gaming. It's just so perfect. They're in spots that make them so hard to hit, but they're still getting all of their damage out, and that's what really differentiates them from DarkWolves. DarkWolves now, they are pushing up. They're losing a lot of tanks. They've got one more tank, Yui. He's just going to be going down there as well. And really, DarkWolves, they're just cascading into fire and smoke as EL Gaming just eliminate them.
I almost feel like we spend more time pre-game talking about EL than we actually do
the actual game.
In-game watching EL. So
we do a little bit. We honestly do. So I mean, it's not our fault. It's EL Gaming for making the game so short. And this one is going to be another short. And I don't think Caviar is going to be able to pull off a full kind of turnaround with only 276 HP on that Object 140. So the grill tracks him.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how this grill has gone, actually.
Yeah,
because I feel like he might not have even been in a position to really do any damage in this round.
It is Fox TS, though, the captain of EL Gaming, so he kind of knows what he's doing. But there you go. Whew. Another win for EL Gaming. 3-0 at the end of that one. And, I mean, it's only going to take one more half of Steps and then our next map, and that could be all for the DarkWolves. One of the top teams, the top Korean team on our standings coming into this week, and they're just EL Gaming, making them look like a paperweight, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not that much to say. Like we've said it so many times before. EL Gaming, the aggression, catching people off guard. They just have much better focus fires, and obviously it seems the communication is much better there as well in the EL Gaming lineup. They're just not necessarily. Maybe they're not even just the best tankers, which I suspect they probably are. But there's also the fact that they just rely on each other as well. They have confidence in their teammates that even if they charge in as the first tank into the game or into the battle, there's always going to be those guys behind me coming up. Even if I die, someone else on the other team's going to die. We're going to get out of this one fine. So I think that confidence really shows for EL Gaming as well. They're just able to do whatever they want. And
they've got a lot of
most of the time works.
Exactly. They've got a lot of team synergy as well. You can just see it, that they can kind of read each other's plays. And I think we can see that in this replay as well. Gone when ducking behind the house, Nice knew exactly what to do to try and kind of protect him a little bit, even though he's only in the AMX 1390. Did his best to kind of give his mate a hand and kind of block him from Young, but Young still managed to push around there and take him out, unfortunately. So I think this was the second kind of part of that little episode as well. Young had already gone down. Nice was coming around, and by this point, DarkWolves, they had to put themselves out into this very compromising position, the AMX 1390 and the 113, to try and push into EL Gaming, who had such good positions. And it's amazing how EL Gaming were able to really bait the defenders out into pushing them as well. When, even for a team like DarkWolves, who don't really like pushing that much, they just caught them out. And again, it's just that unbridled aggression.
Yeah, you're right. And we mentioned it before. Be interesting to see what happened here for the Grill 15. Looks like we've got our post-match stats ready. And
there you go. Yeah,
he did a lot of work.
2.5k. He definitely did do a lot of work. Fox TS. And, the only kind of difference is that we didn't see the TVP this time picked at all by EL Gaming. But overall, Caviar's got to be pretty happy with himself in that Object 140, dealing about 2.8 thousand damage. And down the bottom, some of the other Object 140s of the DarkWolves didn't quite have as much success, unfortunately.
No, certainly not a good score sheet there coming out for the DarkWolves. But there are some takeaways. Obviously, they had a couple of those guys up there doing some top damage. And, if they can all fire at once, then who knows what can happen. We have seen, EL Gaming, we kind of, or at least maybe I kind of build them up to be quite an unstoppable force. But they're not perfect. There are breaks or chinks in the armor. We've seen them already drop a few rounds throughout the history of this league so far. So
not many.
But it's possible.
It is.
So I think maybe teams just need to be a little bit more confident against EL Gaming. They seem to be just counting themselves out, like, okay, let's just sit here in the spawn and wait for EL Gaming to come along.
Hopefully that's not what DarkWolves ends up doing, because they have actually been getting fairly close to EL Gaming. And now that we're swapping the sides here on steps, we can see that DarkWolves are actually going to be going with the Grill 15 on the attack here. Also with the two FV215 bears, I actually like the DarkWolves lineup a little bit more this time than EL Gaming's, or at least than the DarkWolves last time, because they don't have those objects in the mix. And honestly, with the objects, unless when you're having that sort of a long-range firefight, like we saw in the last map, the Object 140s just don't quite have the guns to back that up, particularly when the bat chats can unload on you in the open and get a whole clip off. So overall, this time though, DarkWolves, I don't know, I reckon maybe they could take it.
Well, you predicted 5-2, so they're going to have to take something eventually. Soon.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Why did I predict 5-2?
I don't know. Should have listened to me. 5-0, the dream.
The dream.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the dream for DarkWolves.
Well,
DarkWolves are definitely going to be looking to make that 5-2 happen. So hopefully they can. But
well, it's not quite do or die just yet here for DarkWolves. They of course have got one more chance. Just
one more chance,
and then it's going to be match point coming out for EL Gaming. So they can essentially drop this one, but I'm sure they'd be looking to pick this one up no matter what.
And they definitely do not want to drop another one. We can see just initially that the difference in HP, it's about 1,000, well, it's exactly 1,400 between the DarkWolves and EL Gaming. So the DarkWolves going with those FV215Bs, just making, kind of offering them a little bit of a heavier lineup, a bit more HP buffer in the pools, So
what is this? This is really interesting. They just wanted to have a picnic in the bush. The three bat chats.
That's interesting, to say the least. Interesting. I mean, obviously, when they're sitting behind the bush like that, you do still get the camo bonus from the bush being in front of you. So that's why, EL Gaming obviously not wanting to sit inside the bush, or not feeling the need to sit inside the bush, I guess. But whether You know, what they're actually doing is another question entirely, I guess.
I mean,
I suppose just waiting for a push from DarkWolves on towards that one cap.
They must have been expecting some sort of a push from the DarkWolves over to that direction, because that's where the majority of their tanks are.
And I suppose what they're doing here, and I do kind of like it, is they're leaving the 2 flag essentially completely bare, apart from Nice in the RU251, who's just able to spot some tanks if they roll out over that 2 flag. And I'm pretty sure they may even just leave it until DarkWolves actually get on the cap, because that means as soon as they know that DarkWolves are on the cap, then it's sort of EL Gaming's fight to take. They can choose exactly where they're going to go in, and they're going to know, okay, well, at least one tank's on the cap. The rest of them are probably going to be around or a little bit behind it. You know, they can get some nice flanks with those fast tanks on the EL Gaming lineup and make it work. But I like Batkong's position in the RU251 for the DarkWolves. I think it's very useful to have him up here. He doesn't have the binocs, but he does have the coded optics, so he should make things, should make spotting things just a little bit easier. Just a touch.
So EL Gaming at the moment just opting to split up. They've sent their Bat Chats as sort of a wolf pack down towards the spawn area here for the DarkWolves.
And I think right now we are going to be seeing EL Gaming just maybe looking to make a bit of a play soon. They can kind of sense, well, they must know, of course, that the DarkWolves are around that 2 cap, because obviously they haven't seen them anywhere in the middle of the map. And these guys, these Bat Chats from EL Gaming, moving right down towards the spawn area of the DarkWolves and really not seeing anyone. They haven't seen that RU251 just yet. Well, I don't think they have. Guanren's kind of looking in that general direction, though.
They shouldn't have seen him. He's sitting still in the bush, and he's not sitting still in the bush, but it doesn't matter because he's the light tank anyway. But I don't think they'd be able to spot him from up there. He's probably spotted them.
Probably, but here we go. So, this is interesting. I'm not too sure if I actually like this from the DarkWolves. They're pushing 2 FE215Bs in towards the cap. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to get one of them out right there, because that is just not going to work. Having 2 of those heavy tanks in the cap, particularly when they're so vulnerable to a flank from those Bat Chats around the one spawn area for the DarkWolves. And Sun Mi's also getting some good spots, good shots on towards them as well, though only one has actually hit Revolution. So DarkWolves just playing this one so cautiously.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is a very quiet early game, considering we are watching EL Gaming. DarkWolves, of course, this is a little bit more characteristic of them. But they've set themselves up quite nicely. They've got the FE215B on that 2 cap, and a little bit more of the backup from the remaining tanks further back towards the south end of the map. And they're doing a reasonable amount of damage across to EL Gaming as well. You can see Sun Mi in the 113 has taken a chunk of his HP. Fox TS as well has lost a small amount of HP. And really, DarkWolves haven't taken a huge amount in response. So, you know, the pressure at the moment is definitely on EL. They have to make their move here. Only 30 seconds left on that cap timer, and I mean, DarkWolves, they can always drop a guy onto that cap as well to speed things up, but certainly seems like EL Gaming are not too keen to let things get to the last moment. They are going to start to make their move here. Nice should be able to get a reasonably easy reset coming out here. No, he bounces the shot off, or it gets eaten by the track or something. Gomley still not taking any damage. There we go. The reset comes out. So not too surprising that EL Gaming should be able to get that reset without too much difficulty. But now we will see the start of the fight. Gomley is the target of all of those shells from EL Gaming. Fox TS picks up the first kill of this round.
That is looking extremely good for EL Gaming right there, managing to take it the FE215B on the flag, and that's why I didn't like it. You know, when you get caught out on the flag as an FE215B, you know, you haven't got that super armor to rely on. You haven't really got that mobility to rely on either to get out. So essentially, that was just a free kill going over there to EL Gaming. But Black has actually gone down in that 113 as well, so they did get something back. And EL Gaming, they're not committing to this, which is interesting. They're not really in the position to commit to this because they still that grill at the back.
EL Gaming are in a really bad spot at the moment. Look, they've only got 6,000 HP to play with as a team. DarkWolves have got 10,500, and they've got a few guys very close to this cap circle. One of them on it. The pressure is still very much on EL Gaming here. I don't see if EL Gaming, you know, I don't see EL Gaming being able to dig themselves out of this hole. This is too much of a deficit.
This is a massive deficit over on the EL Gaming side, and well, DarkWolves have been playing this one extremely well and nice. He's trying to do what he can in that RU251, but it's just not working out for him. And with all of those DarkWolves on the flag right there, oh, that is going to be another EL Gaming guy going down. As one less batch out for EL, that's a lot less damage.
Yeah, so still 3 minutes on the clock here for DarkWolves to either cap out or take all those enemy tanks out as well. So, yeah, DarkWolves putting themselves in a great position here. You can see EL Gaming now making their move. It is those bat chats coming across from the south or from the southern, or the side of the map, I suppose, is where I'm going with that one. But nice. Does manage to grab one. RU251, though, not going to be lasting too much longer in this one. And, well, EL Gaming capitulating on this one. And surprisingly, DarkWolves able to pick this up.
Yeah, a little bit of a, well, extremely good play from DarkWolves, to be fair. They had that 2-flag push set up absolutely perfectly to try and win it, and Flag is going to be trying to run away here. They do have 5 tanks left on the DarkWolves side, so they should easily be able to cap that one out in the last 2.5 minutes of the match. Yeah, Overwatch going to be getting the reload happening as well, so should be able to take out Flag. Yep, he's tracked. He's going to be going down. And yeah, DarkWolves, like, they just played this one extremely well. Like, EL Gaming, they didn't do any early rushes, so DarkWolves were able to effectively get their full setup going. You know, just set up exactly how they wanted to push in towards the 2-flag, and because they had that RU251 up on the hill around the back of their base, then that tank could spot out all of the EL Gaming bat chats that were trying to make a flank happen. And if they'd been able to make the flank happen, then yeah, absolutely, something could have worked for EL Gaming. You know, but unfortunately, it didn't. Yeah,
so, I mean, still 3-1 in the favour of EL Gaming, but DarkWolves was able to pull one back at least. And, well, it's not struggle street just yet. We said that was sort of their last chance now before the match point, and they managed to hang on for the moment. But it's still going to be an uphill battle coming out here for DarkWolves. They're able to pick one up there, but is it going to be enough here up against EL? Remains to be seen.
Well, if I called it right, Jordan, it will be a 5-2.
Yeah,
to our friends on towards our friends on the EL Gaming side, with the DarkWolves on 2.
Yep.
With any luck, I think. But you know, who knows? They've still got to win another one, which isn't easy at all.
No, so I mean, I didn't even really see what went wrong here for EL Gaming. Like, I sort of looked at the game and then I looked away for like 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden EL's on like 6,000 HP. So, just having a look at the replay here and just trying to see where they went wrong. And it seems like they just took a lot of poor trades, really.
Yep. A lot of poor trades, and like, I really don't like defending the 2-flag cap from this sort of position where Sunmi is in. I'm really, you know, it really doesn't work out too often because you're so far in the open, and a 113, it's not really the sort of tank that you're going to win too many of those trades with. You know, maybe something like a T110 E5, yeah. And this was a good little bit of kind of desperation play from EL Gaming. They tried to just kind of hit and run Revolution, but Nice went a little bit too far up in that RU251. The bat chat died as well before he could get that last shot off, and that was essentially it at that point.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from the DarkWolves, and now EL Gaming just left reeling for a moment. Still, 3-1 up. They're going to be pretty comfortable with themselves. Let's go ahead and see how that worked out, though, because I think DarkWolves really, there was some big stuff coming out from them.
There was some huge plays coming out from the DarkWolves, and I think that Grill 15, 2.1 thousand damage there, dealing a very fair amount of damage, but FE215B, to no one's surprise. Well, Gomley actually didn't do too much, but the other one did. So I think Gomley actually probably went down early, very early on for the DarkWolves, which is potentially why. But yeah, the rest of them not looking too bad at all.
So, Steps might be a little bit of a chink in the armour there for EL. That's the first time I've seen them playing on it, and honestly, they didn't look all that great.
It wasn't impressive. Wasn't super impressive. Wasn't the usual EL that we see. Like, I've seen some pretty crazy rushes on Steps by particularly the Horsemen. You know, those guys love to rush on Steps, but EL Gaming, they yeah, just didn't look quite as comfortable potentially. So finally, at least, we're seeing a side to EL Gaming that may give the other teams a bit more hope and kind of knowledge that they can actually beat them on certain maps. But so far, they've only beat them once, and EL Gaming did lose one last weekend, so it still could be a 5-1 if EL Gaming take up this next match.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen what the map is going to be, but looks like we're going to be finding
Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, hey?
Okay, Himmels. And I'm liking EL Gaming's lineup right here. They're going to be taking 3 AMX 50Bs over on Himmels, and the guys over on DarkWolves going to be taking a little bit more of a heavier lineup. They are only going with 2 auto loaders, the AMX 50B and the Batchat 25. Going with that T110 E5 as well, that American Tier 10 Heavy. But I'm really liking EL Gaming's lineup here. They've got a lot of speed, they've got a lot of damage with those AMXs, and I'm pretty sure they should be on the attack.
Yeah, look, I don't actually mind Himmelsdorf here coming out for DarkWolves. They played it a fair bit last week, had a 75% win rate throughout it, so it's definitely not a bad map for them. Obviously, EL Gaming had a 100% win rate on Himmelsdorf last week, but they only played 2 rounds on it. So, this is not a bad map for DarkWolves. It wouldn't be entirely surprising to see DarkWolves picking up something here.
Yeah.
But again, I'm probably still leaning towards EL to pick this one up.
I think that's a pretty safe bet, I think, Jordan. EL, I mean, will they take it out 2-0? I think with the way that the DarkWolves have been playing, they've actually been looking good in all of their matches today, even though they've already lost, even though they've already lost 3 of them. But yeah, I'll have to wait and see. So, as we get the rollout happening, where are EL Gaming going to be going is the question. Are they going to be going banana? Are they going to be going rail yard? Are they going to be splitting up? And I think splitting up is the answer. They're going to be sending one AMX 50B up the hill.
Yeah. Interesting that they should do this, because typically last week when they played Himmelsdorf, we just saw them rushing straight down banana and heading right into that
shaking
2-cap.
it up a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Or back Kong. Uh-oh. Has back Kong been spotted? No, almost spotted. But, interesting to see where DarkWolves are going. The DarkWolves don't normally do this. And maybe they've actually been... Oh, that's so devastating, because EL Gaming, having seen that T110 E5 they're crossing, they are going to know that something's up. DarkWolves, like, they obviously all wanted to get up on the hill, and there's no other reason that you'd put a T110 E5 in that sort of A9 line. No reason at all. So now EL Gaming have a giant clue as to where the DarkWolves are.
I'm actually surprised that EL haven't just gunned it straight towards that 1-cap off, just purely seeing that one single tank.
Well, you actually say that. I'm taking a look at the mini-map. They're moving a little bit, potentially towards the 1-cap. And Guanred are nice. You're actually heading right towards that way, but I'm liking where the DarkWolves have put their RU-251 back Kong right back towards that 1-cap to try and spot some things out. So this is one element of DarkWolves play that I really, really like, and I feel as though EL Gaming find it a little bit hard to deal with, particularly when they're playing a little bit slower than we're used to, is they're really good at controlling vision on the map. They always have vision where they need it, and with that back Kong there, back Kong was able to spot out, I think, a couple of those guys from EL Gaming, so DarkWolves have that information. They can use it, they can rotate if they need, and they're going to need to. So.
Yeah, this is not good at all here for DarkWolves. They've given up so much map control over to EL Gaming. Look how far forward EL are. It's going to be really tough now for DarkWolves to actually get in and reset this cap, because you can see they've already stacked, EL rather have already stacked 2 over. There's another third joining them, only 25 seconds left on the cap here, and EL have got 3 tanks in a very forward position. The AMX 50B here is taking quite a lot of damage, but he's managed to take out a tank there, gets a 1-for-1. Now this does leave an opportunity here for Revolution maybe to get a reset, and he's going to have to do it relatively shortly. There's only 8 seconds left on the cap circle here, 13 now as he hits flag, but you can start to see that Batchat Overwatch coming in from behind, and this is not looking too great for EL now that they've lost that initial, or not lost that initial fight, but they did lose that tank in a very far forward position, the AMX 50B. Having said that, though, they all peek around the corner there and pick up Overwatch there in the Batchat. So EL pull one back. They do have the HP advantage here as well, and now they are starting to, I guess, take control of this one as they've taken down another tank, and they have 2 tanks advantage.
And look at that Guanred in the AMX 50B. His crew is suffering. Some shells gone through his tank because his loader and his driver are out of action. Not looking too good, but the moment. EL Gaming still with all but one of their members up. DarkWolves with 3 down. That base cap started once again. This is very, very tricky for DarkWolves to try and push in. They need to try and finish off those 2 tanks that are super low before they make the hard engage.
Yeah, this AMX-50B Fox TS doing so much work, and he knows the reload timer there of the FV215B. Falls back just for a moment, allows his teammate Sunmi to take the shot, and comes back and picks up the kill there. So some really nice work coming out from EL Gaming. It's still not over just yet, though, because DarkWolves, they have a big HP pool to play with. They can afford to take a few shots here if they're able to take out a couple of these very low HP tanks from EL Gaming. Yeah,
I think so. And EL Gaming right here, they are going to be looking pretty good, staying on the cap once again, and Yui in the AMX-50B, he's reloading, so there's absolutely nothing he can do for about the next 20 seconds or so, and that's just going to leave EL Gaming to be able to pick him up, and unfortunately a tank without shells may as well be dead.
Yeah, well, he is dead in the end there. It's now down to Young and Batkong here for the DarkWolves. The T110, E5, and the RU251. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? DarkWolves, again, their focus fire wasn't quite on point. Or maybe not necessarily even that. I just feel like EL Gaming was able to keep their low tanks out of the fight when they needed to be out of the fight. And then they were able to peek back into the fight when they reloaded or, you know, something like that. When the time was right, EL had the tanks in the position. But when the time was wrong, obviously EL was able to get their tanks to safety. And that is going to be it. 4-1. Now in the favour of EL Gaming, so only 1 match away from an EL victory.
4-1. There you have it. So EL Gaming looking pretty strong coming in towards this second half of Himmelsdorf. But look, overall, that was still, I want to say, still a pretty close matchup there in Himmelsdorf. And I really like the issue for the DarkWolves early on was that they got spotted out moving up to the hill, down that kind of 9 line, and their T110E5 got spotted out, got shot there, and whatever DarkWolves were planning for the hill didn't really work. Because, you know, maybe they were planning for a late hill push, and I don't actually think that EL Gaming had any members up on the hill, so really it could have worked out quite well, or maybe they had one. So it would have been a free kill for DarkWolves in that case. But overall, the vision control that DarkWolves still maintained moving into the second half of the game there, you know, was pretty impressive. They sent the RU251 back. They tried to get the spots off, but overall, EL Gaming, once it came down to the actual brawl, like they had the 3 AMX-50Bs that just deal so much damage. It was pretty insane. There was no way that the DarkWolves could compete with that. Yeah, look, EL Gaming are really one of those teams that do thrive on those sort of brawly situations. They're one of the best teams in the league at doing that. And I guess, you know, that's going to be evidenced by really how much we get to see them playing throughout the season. And here's, I guess, another bit of an example of how this match went wrong for Batkong. Not for Batkong, sorry, for DarkWolves, but also Batkong. Also Batkong, exactly. And that was Young getting caught out there early on. Not good news at all. So we can see Revolution as well. Look, Revolution did a good job. He ricocheted a couple of shells there and managed to pick up that kill as well. But unfortunately not enough, or too little too late by that time. So EL Gaming here as well. And I liked how EL Gaming, like they had a bat chat and they had the cap going, right? And then they had the one bat chat, I forget who it was, from the DarkWolves kind of push up behind them, and it was like, oh no, a bat chat's behind them. It's got a full clip. You know, surely it's going to get all of those shells out of the clip. But no, suddenly EL Gaming just turned around and took them down. So it's that sort of communication that that these teams obviously don't expect from a team like EL Gaming. Yeah, look, EL Gaming once again looking so strong throughout this league. We'll have a look and see who is doing the damage. I suspect it's probably going to be the 50Bs, but actually the 113 up the top there. There you go. I wouldn't have expected that either, but Sunmi getting quite a bit of damage. A lot of damage off 4.2k. He'd be taking home a nice chunk of change if this was a random battle, that's for sure. But right now, Fox TS and Guanren in those AMX 50Bs, to no one's surprise, coming in second and third. So, pretty good pretty good little stats for all of those guys in EL Gaming, apart from Black, who's obviously in the AMX 1390, but even both of those tier 8s pulled their weight. Yeah, they certainly did. I mean, that's a respectable amount of damage coming out from a tier 8 tank. I mean, the RU251 has a pretty nice gun. The AMX 1390 as well has a pretty nice gun, but wouldn't be expecting them to do heavy lifting in terms of the damage dealt. No. No, definitely not. But particularly on Himmelsdorf, where they often use the AU251 there was used mainly as a spotting reconnaissance tank. The AMX 1390 more of a kind of flag cap and again spotting reconnaissance tank that they sent up towards the hill there as well. That really worked out quite well in that sort of light tank role. And that's the other thing about seeing both of these teams play. It is quite interesting because both of these teams, really stick to their specific roles. It's always going to be, those light tanks just doing the spotting. It's always going to be the mediums, going in all together, etc. So I think it's good to see this sort of very high level of play that I think we're kind of getting a bit of a treat in seeing tonight with these two top of the table teams.
Yeah, certainly looking to shape up to be a pretty interesting one here. Of course, we're going to be heading over to our second half of Himmelsdorf and have a look at what tanks they've picked. EL Gaming well, the exact same lineup.
There you go. Surprise, surprise. EL Gaming going with those 3 AMX 50Bs and 3 113s. I suppose the old saying is, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Yeah, exactly. And a couple of T10s coming out there from DarkWolves. Something that we see every now and then.
Yep.
On
T10s, those Tier 9 Russian or Soviet heavy tanks. So I don't mind it. The T10's it's got a pretty nice gun on it. Quite easy for it to get through, particularly those AMX 50Bs, and it will be fairly easy for it to get through those 113s as well. It's got a little bit of a bigger buffer than if you were going with a Tier 10 and a Tier 8 tank instead. So overall, I like both the teams' lineups in this one.
Yeah, well, having a look at those lineups, you still favouring DarkWolves to get a second one here?
Ooh, look, it is going to be tricky for the DarkWolves. Like, they're going up against a super brawl heavy lineup. Again, it's going to depend on the positioning. But just quickly, I'm going to go with DarkWolves still to take this one out.
Alrighty, I'm going to go the other side of the coin. I'm thinking EL are going to be pretty keen to close this one out in a pretty quick fashion, a 2-0 here on Himmelsdorf and a 5-1 in general. And, well, my suspicions are correct. It seems like EL Gaming are very keen to just get in there and fight this one. And why not with those AMX 50Bs? Batcong, he's gone so far forward. He doesn't have really any backup at all here coming out from many of his teammates. Guan Ren charging straight in there. Sun Mi taking a little bit of damage, but Batcong is going to be going down. Revolution now taking a little bit of damage there for the DarkWolves, and once again EL Gaming with the aggression, able to catch a tank off guard and get that gun advantage.
Crazy aggression right now coming out from EL Gaming. We can see the DarkWolves, they don't actually have all of their tanks in position to help out. Overwatch in that Batchat 25T is only just getting onto the field, but with only one tank down, he might have just reached here in time.
Yeah, Sun Mi and Nice do need to be careful here because they don't have the backup of those other 4 tanks on EL Gaming. Sun Mi recognizing this is starting to back off. Nice already going down there, but the AMX 50B coming off a reload here is ready to get involved in this fight once again. Flag in the 113 as well, sitting around the corner there, just doing a bit of damage over to Overwatch in that Batchat. And EL Gaming, I mean, they're starting to lose that HP a little bit quicker than they perhaps would have wanted. Having said that, though, there's still the same amount of tanks in the game for both of these teams. As I say that, the AMX 50B able to pick up another kill. Only one shot left in the clip there for the AMX 50B, but he's going to fall back here, it seems like, probably in a good time to reload. Actually fires off a shot onto Caviar and lands it, I think. Yeah. And, well, this is looking good once again for the EL Gaming guys. They've got more tanks available, more damage that they can put out, and the DarkWolves, despite having reasonably even HP pools, not in a great position on this one.
Interesting to see Flag actually taking this 1v1 with Revolution. Well, sorry, I say 1v1, but unfortunately for Revolution...
Revolution has no idea who to shoot.
Oh, yes. It's very, very tricky. And the 113's coming around the corner as well. Excellent coordination there from EL Gaming, who are going to be going with the 3-man onto the single FV2 15B. So a little bit unfortunate for them, but they get it in the end. And
the track. Has he got a repair kit?
I think so.
Yeah. Been in a bit of trouble if he hadn't have had one there.
Just a touch of trouble. Just a little touch, but Overwatch there. He's about one shot from death from most of those tanks over on the EL Gaming lineup, and really that was just clinical EL Gaming aggression, pushing right down the banana, catching at one of those T10s that DarkWolves could not back up in time. And you can see here Caviar just pushing around the place. Caviar's at least got a bit of HP, so Caviar honestly could actually take out the 113 and the 50B, and maybe the 250Bs, but I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yep, Overwatch going down there. Caviar does take out the 113. You can take out both those 50Bs. Probably 2 shots on the higher HP of those 50Bs.
Oh!
Wow. That was a sick shot.
That was a sick shot.
He's certainly making, you know, if you go down, you've got to go down in style, right?
Well, and he's actually making all of these shots count. He might, one more shot might be enough to take out the other AMX 50B. If he doesn't, yeah, he's not staying in there. So I don't want to get my hopes up because Flag is still 2 shots from death and Caviar only has 2 shots left in the clip. So he's going to need at least 1 reload if he can pull off something miraculous here. And well, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, Caviar is a good player on the DarkWolves. So, like, if we actually take a look as well at some of the guys over on EL Gaming, like the RU251, the commander's dead, the driver's dead in Flags 113.
Oh, he's walking right into the trap here, though. Black will spot him out. Caviar, don't know if he's got the angle on either of those tanks at the moment, but it is the AMX 50B has tracked him, and well, that's going to be a death sentence here for the Bat Chat, unfortunately. That is going to be EL Gaming closing it out 5-1 over the DarkWolves. And a very convincing result once again. They're going to be going 4-0 throughout our season so far. Definitely putting themselves up the top of that standings.
Yeah, looking absolutely monstrous after the end of today. So 2 weeks have gone, Jordan, and like EL Gaming, they are looking like the team to beat. And I called 5-2. That was being a little bit optimistic, but at the end of the day...
Hey, I called 5-0, you called 5-2. It was right in the middle. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think so. Why not? Yeah. But... yeah, look, taking a look back at that map, I think really like that initial push coming out from EL Gaming just worked so well for them, taking down that T10, catching out the guys, and then they transitioned it into this, and I thought it was going to go a little bit the other way because Overwatch came in, but as soon as Overwatch came in, you could see EL Gaming, they communicated, they said, okay guys, there's a Bat Chat, let's not let the Bat Chat completely unload on our 113s in the line, so they pushed back. So Overwatch had to distribute his shots, couldn't take down just one tank, and well, that was that.
Yeah, it was a good attempt there from Caviar, but again, it's so hard to come out.
16 HP that the AMX 50B was left on, so it's just times like that when you just throw the dice and the random number generator comes up wrong.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it was going to be a tough situation for him regardless. It's very difficult to come out of a 3v1 no matter how much HP you have against how much HP the opponents have. Just the extra damage on those guns just makes it so difficult to come back from. So, obviously, unfortunate there for Caviar, but a good result comes out for EL Gaming, 5-1 once again over the DarkWolves.
There we go. So the DarkWolves have got to be pretty disappointed about that, I think it's safe to say. So, yeah, I mean, they can always come back next week, and they're still not doing too badly in terms of the ladder standings as well, so not the end of the day. Yeah,
well, I suspect those AMX 50Bs, once again, on Himmelsdorf were probably the tanks to be looking at here for the guys on EL.
Yep, there we go. So EL with that
Wow,
AMX.
Look at Black. 2,500 damage in the RU251.
Oh, look at that. And I was actually kind of wondering why, you know, interesting to see Black take the gun rammer, but the shell rammer, but there you go. That's why you take it. I guess 16 shots in the RU251, and I think most of those 16 shots would have hit, or a fair percentage.
Like 10 or 11? I think it does about 200 damage, 200 to 250 damage per shot.
Actually, around about that, so about 10 exactly. Very good play by Black. And those T10s just didn't quite work out, unfortunately. The T10 that stayed alive did about 1560 damage, which is all right. But the T10 that got cut out early only got one shot off before dropping. So a little bit unfortunate, but there you go. EL Gaming solidifying their spot, and I don't think anyone's super surprised to see them take that one out.
No, I mean, they are going to definitely be a really strong team heading into, I guess, well, the entire tournament, really. I'd be extremely surprised if we didn't see them coming into the finals. Yep,
I think so. I think that's a safe bet, Jordan. So, really moving on towards like next week's matches as well. You know, these guys have already played. You know, some of the best teams in the competition. They've already played DarkWolves. They've already played Well, I was about to say Gold Bass, but they're not the best teams in the competition at the moment. Not anymore. Far from it. I want to see a Gold Bass and Twist match up. To be honest, that'd
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know if that's going to be on a
It'd be like
broadcast day.
it'd be like two Magikarps like splashing against each other.
Wow. That's harsh. Anyway, we're digressing a little bit. That's
just because they're called Gold Bass. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not...
yeah, I get it. That's it, though. That's it for today, I guess. This has been how it's turned out for us. Obviously, a 5-0 there for Run and Team Efficiency, a 5-1 and a 5-1 for Twist and Coalition Zoo and EL and DarkWolves, respectively. So, a reasonably quick day, I suppose, all things considered.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, lots of 5-1s, 5-0 as well for the that team efficiency game. I wasn't expecting team efficiency and Run to actually go to the 5-0. To be perfectly honest, but
yeah.
I mean, like TE, they're just looking so good at the moment. They were looking so good yesterday, today as well. You know, it really isn't surprising that when they're on a hot streak like this, they can really play well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was necessarily a surprise that it was such a convincing result in TE's favour. Might have expected to see 1 or 2 rounds go in the favour of Run.
Exactly.
But
Just a couple of rounds. But
definitely expected TE to pick that one up without too many difficulties.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. But there you go. We've seen some excellent tanking today, I think, Jordan, and it's been a good way to end out a week of WGL APAC.
Yeah. So after the end of our first 2 weeks, we're going to have a look and see what our standings are looking like. Of course, EL Gaming up the top there, but really Twist and Goldbass rather down the bottom there, having a bit of a difficult time. But I think the real, I guess, heroes of this week, I suppose, have been Coalition Zoo and Team Efficiency, finding themselves in 2 and 3.
Looking extremely strong at the end of this week. And, I mean, there's not really many other teams that can kind of look to take out EL Gaming. But the battle for the kind of 2nd to 6th spots on the ladder, maybe even 2nd to 7th, should be a nice close battle between all of those guys. Team Efficiency, Coalition Zoo, B Gaming, Karen Tiger, all of them. So
it's kind of like a bicycle race, like a road race where they have the lead, then they have what is it, the pentathlon.
The peloton.
That's
peloton.
it. Yeah,
that's right.
It's kind of like the peloton, right?
Yeah.
The chase or the there's the chase and then the peloton. I think I don't know how it works. I'm not a big watcher of cycling, but that's the sort of the analogy.
Then,
yeah. Well, it makes sense, right?
I get you. But who knows? Maybe the peloton will be able to catch up with the the guy that EL Gaming is.
The EL Gaming bike. Who knows? I suspect EL is probably going to be sitting themselves quite happily in first place for the majority of the season. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, though, that is going to be all from us tonight here in the APAC region. There's plenty of World of Tanks action going on throughout the week, though, so stay tuned, of course, to all of our channels across the streams. But for now, I'm going to have to bid you good night. Stay tuned, though, or don't necessarily stay tuned, but come back next week because we'll be starting once again on Saturday at 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we hope to see you then. We hope you've enjoyed tonight and yesterday. But until next week, I'll bid you good night and happy tanking.